Oh, there.
Aloha,
And
everybody.
tiny little screen
Hey,
there too.
there's Craig.
I need
Hi,
to
baby Craig.
move. How do I do this again?
Pat.
How do I do this?
You're so cute down there.
Did I do that? Size. Position.
So funny. Aloha, everybody. It's great to see folks here. Oh, there he goes.
There
Ooh,
we
look at him
go.
move. It's awesome to see everybody here. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday. You know, our live streams are usually on a Saturday. We just because of like scheduling and we had to move it, but the rest of our live stream should be consistently on Saturdays again. But thank you for you guys are so funny in this in the chat. You make us laugh.
But good morning, Happy New Year.
Yes.
A lot of big things happening this year. Today we're going to spend some time again just helping remind people how to utilize their time and practice in a way that you feel accomplished. Because sometimes we get in that rut where we're like, I don't even know if I'm getting better. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing the same songs over and over.
Or you get to a point where you're like, I don't know what to practice because I don't know what my goals are. And then it's,
So we have a couple new things that we're going to try. I'm on a personal note, I'm going to be trying to record a lot more. We're going to do even more ukulele spotlights. We're actually going to visit some dealers this year and talk story with them. And some of the stories that they have. There's a lot that I want to do this year. So
we'll see what we can accomplish because it'll have to be things that he can accomplish without as much from me so that I can continue the other work that we've got going on.
And if you miss our backyard concert series, we are looking for sponsorship to bring that series back, not only as a way to showcase talent here and talk story with artists, but we want to do it live so you guys can actually ask them questions between songs and stuff like that. It's gonna be really fun. But we need to find some concert sponsors for that. So let us know if you have anyone in mind that we can reach out to. With that said, we just had Ukulele Club of Hawaii's first
Ukulele Club
jam yesterday, which was a lot of fun.
I look forward to club every month. It's the highlight of my month. You know, I love Ukulele Club, and I feel like we had the most people we've ever had at club yesterday.
Yeah,
There was no
huge.
Seats. It was huge, and we rearranged the stage because the mall actually has more seating that's a lot of times behind the stage, and so we asked to switch it how we had it at Christmas because that seating is available again. So we're not blocking any of the built-in seats anymore, and it seemed to really go well. So. Super, super happy that just everyone they wanted to start their new year with club, and it was just so much fun. We just had, as they say here, choke good time. Yeah, right. kind of. Yep.
Oh, Evan.
Hey. No, I'm just kidding.
Evan said he just joined Artist Works and he led worship at church with the I'll Fly Away.
Yay!
Yay! That's awesome to hear. See, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that is fantastic. We there's gonna be a lot of new lessons. Oh, I gotta do that mini lesson tonight too.
Yeah. Because they've been waiting on their homework.
Yes.
Craig has started it. So our online school is at Artist Works. And actually, why don't we go through our quick events? So real quick, because I'll talk about Artist Works in a second. So our online school is with Artist Works. It's actually going to be 10 years old this year. Crazy. That we've been teaching with them for 10 years, but we always have our Artist Works check-in, and that is going to be January 25th. And this one, I think I actually already posted in the forum, please post your questions here. So students, post your questions and we will answer those questions live on January 25th. If you join in the live chat that day, usually we have time to take some questions from the live chat, but we just try to prioritize the students' questions first, but that's always a lot of fun. Our next live stream workshop, what you're watching now, is going to be Valentine's Day. Come spend Valentine's Day with us. I've got to think of what love song I want us to do for that one, but it should be a lot of fun for February 14th.
Because it lands on February 14th, maybe we can get the packet and scholar packet up earlier so that people can actually look ahead a little bit and actually start practicing like some love songs.
So they can sing to their loved one.
Yeah.
Yes. So whether it's your cat or your husband or whoever your loved one is.
Yeah, we might do a jumbo size packet for February because that would be fun.
We'll see how much time Sarah has. Then February 21st, we have got Ukulele Club of Hawaii. We had it yesterday. You can actually go back and watch the recording. It was really fun. Herb sang. Some people in the chat were like, was that Herb singing? Yes, he actually can sing really, really well and is really good at finding his harmony.
Yes, we are very grateful that Herb has joined our board of directors.
Yes, he is now officially a board of director with us at Four Strings at a Time, our nonprofit that hosts Ukulele Club of Hawaii, as well as a bunch of other things, including the Four String Concert Series, which happens usually after club 4 times a year.
I did see Sam in the chat, and I want to say aloha, good morning, and we're hoping that Sam can do some amazing lessons as well for us soon. And we're trying to get him all set up for that. So that's something we're very excited because he has so much amazingness to share.
Well, yeah, he's so incredibly knowledgeable. Also, upcoming March 22nd through 26th. I can't believe 2026 is here already. We actually have Kale Gamiao is going to be joining us. That's a new instructor that we've added. Isaac from Ukulele Lab, I just want to thank him because his sponsorship is allowing us to bring Kale.
And he'll be there as well.
And Isaac will also be present, as well as Kamaka, Kani, and Koaloha too. It should be really, really awesome. But we have so many amazing instructors lined up, and I think we've got 2 or 3 spots available for those that want to join. There is also Kama'aina pricing where if you are a Hawaii resident, you don't have to stay at the hotel.
That's a lot of fun.
Though a lot of our Kama'aina people are staying at the hotel. We have 4 or 5, and most of them are like, but I want to stay at the hotel. But you don't have to Kama'aina people. You have to have a Hawaii license in order to be able to do that. But you can always contact Marian through our website to learn more about that. Then, oh my gosh, big news. So June 28th through July 2nd, we are hosting our San Diego Ukulele Retreat. Cannot wait at the Mission Bay Resort. And we have added Bernadette. So I'm really excited. She's going to be really, really fun. She'll be with us. There's going to be a public concert on Sunday, the 28th of June, where people can purchase tickets to come. It's included in the retreat. And then she'll be teaching on Monday and Tuesday of the retreat itself. The other instructors include myself, of course, Craig Chi, Ukulele, woo-woo, Neil Chen, and Corey Mao. So it's going to be a ton of fun. And it's a very intimate retreat. So definitely, I think there might be 7 spots available. I have to double check with Marian because it's been in flux, but still, you do want to.
We have people that are flipping from San Diego to Hawaii,
to Hawaii.
and Hawaii to San Diego. So it's been really fun to watch. Like,
yes.
We can't decide.
Which one? Yes. So, though I had one friend who was like, I'm going to do both. I'm like, good on you. Good for you. And I think, that's all the big things that we have coming up.
Huge congratulations, by the way, to Aaron and Nicole.
Yes, Aaron and Nicole Kime, Bean Sprout Musical Instruments. They had their 1,000th instrument sell. They had a special event for it. We actually gave them, because we couldn't join them live, so we actually recorded a video of us sharing some of our memories with them and congratulating them and performing a song on our own Bean Sprout, because we have one. And you can watch it on our YouTube channel. We did the song Rainbow Connection.
Did you hit the mic, or is that something else?
That must have been something else, Craig. I did not touch the mic. Maybe it was my chair because I hit my hands in my lap or something. But it was really, really sweet. So you can check that out on our channel, of course. So, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else ArtistWorks related.
Now, Evan in the chat also mentioned that he has an opportunity to teach some friends' children how to play ukulele. Yay. So because you're ArtistWorks students, Evan, we're going to put some time into that, and we're going to talk about that in next week's check-in, ArtistWorks check-in. That's going to be here on this channel as well. That's a great...
If you don't mind, Evan, if you could go into the forum and mention that, either ask this question again or mention, hey, Craig said something about, teaching children.
Yeah, we have some.
That way we don't forget. Because if it's not written down, sometimes I will
Yeah, because
forget.
we definitely have some great tips on that. I don't think we
Yeah.
can squeeze in 5 minutes before we
I know.
start. But yeah, that's a perfect question for
That's
that.
a wonderful question for the check-in. Absolutely.
Yay.
Yay. There's so many awesome people.
Chilly, Wisconsin. It's been chilly here. It's been like freezing temperatures.
Well, it was 59, which for us is pretty cold. It's not cold for other people.
Oh,
Mary Lou, you don't have your packet. Hold on, Mary Lou. I got you. Mary Lou.
And again, just like all of our live streams, we do show everything up on screen. But if you want to help support these live streams and keep it free to the public, please consider purchasing a packet at the website below.
Yes.
And if you cannot afford one at this time,
you can email us.
Email us and let us know. We got your back. Yeah. We just can't thank you guys enough for your support and allowing us to do what we do.
Yes.
And we try to keep things as accessible as possible, especially post COVID.
Yeah.
So that said,
I'm just trying to find it real quick for Mary Lou so I can send it to her. I have her email all prepped. That's the beauty. Hopefully, Mary Lou, we get a chance to see you in person because we miss you. There we go. And then here we go. Okay, so Mary Lou, check your inbox. Woo-hoo. Yes, there we go. Perfect. All right, we still have, 3 minutes and counting?
Now, it has been interesting to see on our surveys for the retreats what people are interested in learning this year. So,
yes.
Again, if there are some things that you guys always were curious about and haven't had a chance to sit in on a workshop discussing said topic, let us know. And we'll try to create something later this year.
Yeah,
with
because that
those
is
in
one
mind.
thing with our retreats is that we always send out a survey. And San Diego survey should be going out really soon. Hawaii survey already went out, where we ask why are you coming to the retreat? What is it that you're wanting to learn, et cetera? Because then we ask the teachers to teach specific lessons. So you actually curate it every year. So the retreat will never be the same every year. So that's one way that we keep things fresh and make sure that when you attend, you get something that you were looking for from your list. So, yeah, and it's different. I am always amazed at how different it is every year as far as what people want to learn. There's some things that are pretty consistent. Chord melodies usually in the top 3, but the other stuff changes. I think this is the first year song arranging actually is in the top 3. That I was like, oh wow, okay.
And what's neat about that is that this is where we get to see people's goals.
Yeah.
Because it changes. As you learn new things, your goals also change, right? And we'll talk a little bit about this in the workshop itself too. But to me, the biggest thing about practicing and setting goals is just to take some time to sit and see where you're at, and again create short-term and long-term goals. That's the big gist of it.
Yes. But sometimes it's overwhelming.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that for sure. I love it. Strum on Moto. I love that you're seeing us in person isn't enough. No, sadly, no. We know that there's other reasons that you're here, not just to come say hi and hang with us, though it is a good hang, no matter which one you do. So it's really fun. And we always host our March retreat is something that will always be in March, and it's always around, honestly, it's always around Hawaii spring break because one of our teachers, Corey, is a teacher. So it's got to be when he has time off. So that's part of why it's always in March. And then our other retreat, because one year we had it in Long Beach, and I think that was in September. And then we had our cruise last year, which was summer. So we'll probably be summer for 2027. It's in summer, of course, this year too. Part of that is because we have a little one in school, so if we're going to be gone for that long, he's coming, and it's got to be when he can miss a chunk of school. So I don't know where we're going to be. You can always email us suggestions of where we should host our next retreat, because that one we don't mind moving around.
Yeah, Hawaii will always stay in March, and
Yep.
then I think during the summer we're gonna alternate our
Going
ukulele
somewhere.
cruises and
Yeah.
retreat somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew Muniji. Yeah, unfortunately, Andrew is only joining us in March, but it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes. I'm sorry. I know. It's hard bringing all those Hawaii people out. That's the rub. Unless we get an amazing sponsor to get all of the flights. I'd love to bring all of the Hawaii crew out. That would be amazing. So, real quick, I just want to point out because I feel like everybody skips this page, this Mahalo page. This is us saying thank you and giving you various links. But I'm going to start trying to actually put the live stream link, that's what's in yellow, so that if something happens and you say, I can't find the recording, it's there. It's a hot link. If this is on your iPad, you can click it or copy and paste. So just FYI, don't skip the Mahalo page, please. So here we go. And if you have the Scholar packet, which we don't for this month, it's just a standard, your Scholar packet link will be on a Mahalo page. Okay? So, all right, setting up your practice. All right, guys. Big things to think about and consider. Being able to isolate what is giving you trouble. A lot of times people will just practice songs and they won't look at, like, what are the things that, are causing issues. Or, you've been playing for years and let's say you've slipped into a bad habit of holding the instrument in a way. You practice on your couch, leaning back, and you've gotten into that habit. And now you have to, you don't realize you need to undo that habit so that you're actually holding the instrument properly. You also need to be able to break things down so you can hone in on what you need to focus on. Because or what you need to focus your practice on. So again, being more self-aware while you're playing, oh, I consistently make mistakes at this spot, and being able to go back and just work on that spot for a while. But the biggest thing that we find for folks is ensuring you have clear goals. And your goals don't have to be, I'm going to tour the world in 5 years or whatever. It doesn't have to be something grandiose. Your goal could be as simple as, I don't want to have trouble playing B flat anymore. That's a great goal. Or I want to be able to, I don't want to cringe anytime I play in the key of E. Great goal that is super obtainable with practice, right? And also remember your goals can be bite-sized. So and it can complement a long-term goal. So what I used to do with my goals is I would actually have one big long-term goal. At the end of the year, I want to memorize 3 songs. Then I would break it down into smaller goals that would help me achieve the big goal. And then did you have anything you wanted to add to that actually, Craig? Because that was a little note that you had asked me to add.
The what part?
Remember, bite-sized goals can complement your long-term goals.
So just like how, just like when you take a song, you can always break it down to smaller parts, smaller sections to work on. The same thing is with your goals. One of my main goals when I started playing was to be able to sit in a group and just jump in and start playing whatever song they were playing, so which took a while, but it being able to break that down. So that means, one, I have to be familiar with different keys, so that if I can figure out that they're playing in the key of A, I know what chords I'm going to frequent, right? That I should, that typically 99% of the time. The second one was training my ear to hone in on what I thought was the root chord, right? The to figure out what key they were playing in, and that was trying to match pitch with oh, that sounds maybe like a C for at least. Well, I'm sorry. Before I even try to match pitch, I just try to figure out what chord in the progression was home base, which was the root, and then whenever they're about to hit that root, I would try to hit a single note on my ukulele, trying to figure out, okay, is that the pitch? Is that the pitch? And once I find it, then I can then again know what key I'm in, know what family of chords I'm going to frequent. But it was a lot of bite-sized things to get to that bigger long-term goal, right? So part of it was ear training, matching pitch. The second one was just getting familiar with all the different keys. And as you know, we'll discuss throughout today, it's actually easier than you think because are you breaking down like the 1, 2, 3, the like the 1, 4, 5 progressions, that kind of thing?
Not today. That wasn't one of our goals for today, but we could certainly we can extend this and make that we can do ear training in February.
Okay.
All right, because somebody just asked in the chat too. Can we do something like yes,
Yeah.
February ear training?
Oh, I thought it was at Valentine's.
Oh, it is Valentine's. We can figure it out.
March might be ear training.
March might be ear training. We'll figure it out. We can probably add some of that.
Because
in
what
Valentine's.
I'm doing with the bi-weekly thing for Artist Works is I'm going to start including ear training things where I'm going to be playing chords and we're and have students. I'm not going to show what chords I'm playing, and you're going to have time to guess and
you have to cover your
try
hand
to figure
too.
it out. Yes. So, as I mentioned in the chat, I'm going to try to create a condensed version of what I'm working on with Artist Works for like a future workshop here. But yes, ear training is a big one. We don't spend enough time with that in mind, I think. We were lucky enough to have like orchestra and choir and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we were able to utilize some of those techniques and practices.
Well, when you play a non-fretted instrument, your ear has like, because you had cello, I had violin, right? So like you have no choice. You must use your ear to figure out if you're on pitch.
But I know for me, that's like a lot of other people's goals too, is not have to like stop the song and be like, what song are we doing? What key, what chords and what progression? But to be able to hear if you're going from a major to a minor, and then, okay, if I'm going from A major and I hear a minor coming up, what are my options? And again, it's as part of this process of elimination, and then after that, it becomes second nature of just knowing. Like,
and that's only for songs that use chords that belong in the key, because there's lots of songs that use chords that don't belong in the key, and that's a whole other series of lessons.
But once you hear it,
you'll know.
So again, this is like years in training, right? Yeah. So we'll try to condense these kind of things down, but having practices, and so we'll do some backing tracks during that workshop that you guys can download and just drink your coffee or tea in the morning and put the backing tracks on and see if you can match.
Can you jump in?
Yeah.
Can you jump in the jam?
So that's my goal for this year, to have that for people.
Nice.
Yeah.
The other thing that we have in our like setting up your practice, don't forget warm-ups. Warming up is actually really important. It's like runners, right? They don't just run the marathon, right? They need to stretch. They need to get their body warmed up. And so that's something you to definitely consider. And we'll go over some warm-up exercises today. So don't forget your warm-ups. Daily is always better. Daily practice is always going to be more beneficial to you than like practicing for 3 hours on 2 days a week. Now, granted, sometimes it's like your schedule may only allow that. That's fine. At least you're practicing, but daily is always going to be better. And
no. That's an excuse that I will argue that you have these bite-sized 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes of time throughout the day.
Oh, you're not on screen, honey. You're over there.
Yeah. And so, again, you can make time. So part of it, and some people will argue ukuleles belong in cases for safety, for all of that.
They have a point.
But to be honest, I practiced way more when I had an ukulele out in a safe place.
Yes.
Yeah. But I would always grab it, whether waiting for something to print or during commercial breaks or
something to download. That's when I practice.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just these 2-minute exercises that you're doing, but it adds up.
It really does.
I promise. It's like I always liken it to tying your shoes for the first time, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you don't spend an hour practicing your shoe tying, but you do it a little bit every day, and it gets loose and you have to retie it, but it's that constant.
Yep. Yes.
So you gotta
100%.
You have to realize when you find those quick 90-second, 2-minute times to practice.
Yes. And yes, you're not going to be like, well, now I'm going to practice. I'm going to do my, warm-ups for 5 minutes. Like, yes, like if you have a standard, like, oh, I know I have 30 minutes. Yes, that's when you can have something structured. But if you have this random 2-minute time frame, you can sort of play whatever you want. But it's just play or work on a scale or something that is tricky. And that 2 minutes will fly by and you'll go, oh man. So there's that. And then another thing is looking at songs out of order. Right now, I can tell you from watching my own child, he's doing piano. And when he messes up, he always tries to make us go back to the beginning of the song. And it's like, no, you start where you messed up. Don't always go back to the beginning. You want to be able to start in the middle of a piece, at the end of a piece, etc. And you also want the ending to sound just as good as the beginning. And a lot of times, if your way of practicing means that you're going back to the beginning of a song, you're practicing the beginning way more than you're practicing the rest of the piece. So you want to give all the piece equal time. That way it all sounds great. And also when you mess up, you want to be able to jump back in. That's what can sometimes make someone see. That's the difference between a professional and an amateur is, the amateur needs to start back at the beginning, but the pro can just keep moving forward and you might not notice that they had made a mistake because they can forge ahead because they know their piece. Yeah.
So, Joffrey wrote, just buy multiple ukes, one for each room, work in the car, friends and family's houses. No excuses. What's funny enough, we were in Nashville for Jake's retreat thing, camp that he hosted. And a bunch of the teachers were in an Uber. And the Uber.
Oh, yeah, the Uber driver.
So he's like, why are you guys here? And like, oh, for an ukulele camp. He's like, oh my gosh.
He pulls out
this ukulele under his legs.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, I practice when I'm waiting for clients or for pickups and whatnot.
Yeah, and I forgot about him.
I mean, it's like people find a way. It's crazy.
Yeah. But it was pretty funny. It was like, well, that's an ukulele. All right. Yeah.
Oh, no, but he's also asked why we called it an ukulele.
Oh, yeah, that was that same driver, yes. Yes. Yeah, and then he was like, wait, you say Hawaii and I say Hawaii. Yeah, so we had a very interesting conversation.
It was a very educational Uber ride to the venue. But he had an ukulele that he was just to use this for practice and killing time.
Yep.
Amazing.
Under his seat, pretty much.
Yep.
So you can practice anytime, anywhere. Just not while you're driving, please. And then, let's see here, film yourself practicing. So that's one of the things we love about Artist Works is that if you want to be able to get feedback from us, you submit a video of yourself playing, right? And it's amazing what you can see if you film yourself and watch it. I know some people may cringe thinking of that, but it's like, do it because you'll be surprised. Like, oh, wow, I don't look like I'm having fun, right? That's usually one of the first things because your concentration face is real angry. And then also you can look and say, oh, why am I doing all that extra movement when I'm playing this chord?
Or why am I hunched over? Why
am I playing like this?
Again, even for Sarah and I, before we started doing all those videos for Artist Works and the live streams, it was weird and nerve-wracking to sit in front of 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras.
I know,
especially when
right?
people were waiting, the engineer and all that kind of stuff. And you don't want to mess up, and you have to, be a certain way, and you have to hit these topics, and you have to make sure this angle is perfectly correct.
God.
And
it was really stressful 10 years ago when we filmed those lessons.
But it made us better performers.
Yep.
It really did. Again, nothing fancy. Just set up your cell phone.
Yep.
And watch how you practiced or watch your performance of that one song.
Yep. You
can gain so much from that. We used to have to use a mirror, and that was our
I used a mirror. But the other thing that I also think is really great about filming yourself is keep some of those. You don't want to keep all of them, right? Probably. But keep some of the early filmings because 6 months from now, when you feel like, gosh, I haven't improved at all, and you go back and watch those. And I tell our Artist Work students, go back and watch your first video because you'll be amazed at how much you have grown. When you're in it, you don't realize the growth that's happening. It's like when you were a kid and all of your parents' friends are like, look how tall you've gotten. You're like, I'm the same person I've always been. you don't know because you're in it. You are,
Yeah.
and so that's something that I think is invaluable, because then it can also re-inspire you, because you can say, wow, I have come far. Good job, me. I'm going to practice some more.
And it doesn't matter if it's still a simple song,
No, yeah, no.
because you could butcher a simple song, but
Oh,
you can also make it extremely amazing and smooth and dynamic, and there's so much you can do. So don't base it upon, oh, I just don't know any fancy
was it
songs,
Jake's
or
workshop? Was it the workshop day that we did this year, or was it our virtual retreat? Jake did this whole spiel talking about one note, and the different choices you can make with one note, timbre and this attack. And he just it was 30 minutes on one note. And it was captivating, and really just like I I didn't know you could make one note have so many different feelings and sounds. But I mean, that's Jake for you. But again, simple, one note, and you can do so much with one note. Kind of cool.
I think we're gonna announce soon another virtual retreat with Jake and Herb.
We still have to pin down dates.
Yeah, but
the hard part is
everyone's excited.
yeah,
Yeah.
both Jake and Herb want to do it. We just have to figure out when Jake is home so we can do it. All right, and then hone in on what you know before you add more to your plate. So, for example, if you are always having trouble with chord transitions, before you start adding in fancy picking and stuff, get those chord transitions down first, because you will never be able, if you can't get your transition down first, your picking will never sound the way you want it to sound, because they go hand in hand. So let's go ahead and start getting ready. I wrote goals we're going to discuss today. We're going to be adding warm-ups to our practice, learning more scales, etc. So let's just get started so we can start playing. So there's less talking. Our favorite warm-ups. Craig, would you mind going over the one that's going to make the entire chat groan?
So again, if you have seen me go over Aldrine Spider before, what I want, as a pro at this point that you guys are doing, I want you to see how smooth your left hand looks while you're doing this. For those of you who've never done this before, I apologize.
And one thing I want to say before you begin is, and I wrote it in the little paragraph, is use a light touch. Don't squeeze the instrument, because you're not picking.
All right, so we're going to label said fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put 4 fingers on that G string, the string closest to your face. Now, as Sarah said, I'm not gripping really hard. I'm not playing with my right hand at all. It's just my left hand. So with 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to pick up 3 and 4 at the same time, drop them down on the C string at the same time. If you do one finger at a time like this, that is cheating. So make sure they come up as a group and then come down as a group. 1 and 2, off as a group, on the C string now as a group. 3 and 4, down again to the E string, followed by 1 and 2. 3 and 4, and let me see a little bit of a hop too. Just don't drag it down. A little bit of a hop to the A string, followed by 1 and 2. Now we're gonna work our way back up. 3 and 4, 1 and 2. Again, nice and light. 3 and 4, 1 and 2. 3 and 4, 1 and 2. And if you notice, I have this nice resting spot here, right, in that nook. So what's happening is my angle is going to change, but I will always have support there. If I'm doing it like this, I'm going to start having to punch my wrist way out, and it's very unneeded, and it's going to end up hurting my wrist. So keeping that wrist nice and straight as I'm moving down and then coming back up. Now, version 2, we're going to reset on the G string, 1 and 4 this time. Boom. Kind of wiggle them together. We're going to drop them down at the same time on the C string. 2 and 3, off, down to the C string, Again, you're not pressing hard. I'm barely putting any pressure on the strings themselves. 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 3. Come back up. 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 and 4, 2. And again, you're not going to be able to master this right away. It will take some time, especially this last version. Oh, I got to take some Zyrtec after this. 2 and 4, middle and pinky, off. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Drop them down at the same time to the C string. 1 and 3 off, come down. 2 and 4. 1 and 3. 2 and 4. 1 and 3. We talked about being able to practice this in your car, on the steering wheel, or on your lap, or on a desk. But these tiny moments that you can practice this is going to make everything you do on the ukulele that much stronger. Now,
would you suggest calling out the numbers of your fingers as you go through it? Yes, I would if you're just starting this exercise. Because you want to be looking at your hand and saying it like you're commanding them.
Yes.
Nice. And then once you feel like you've got a good handle on that, can we show them spider number 2?
So spider number 2 is something I wanted to kind of take that concept of these different pairings and things that we don't normally use to just, again, break up the mode a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pick this time. And our fingers is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're going to alternate between the G and the C string. So we're going to hit 1 on the G, 2 on the C, 3 on the G, 4 on the C. Sounds a little funny.
And notice how the fingers stay down.
Then we're going to move up diagonally. So from my index, we're going to jump up to C2. And now we're going to alternate between the C string and E string. 3 on the E, 4 on the C, 5 on the E. Move up diagonally again. Index now on E3. And we're going to alternate to A4, E5, A6. So if we started all over, it would sound like this. Oh. And then coming back down. The down actually is a little bit harder.
I was like, I think the down is trickier.
So now again, we hit pinky on, what is that, the 6, A, to the E. And then we're going to release to hit the 4 on the A, release to hit E on the 3. So 4, 3, 2, 1, finger-wise. And then, if I started here, I'm going to move diagonal, right? So I'm going to start there now. Oh. And then diagonal from there. So I'm going to start from here.
Yeah.
And that's going to be now alternating between the C and the G. Oh. So again, it's not meant to sound that particular interesting. It's just starting to, again, utilize our fingers where we're kind of cutting across the fretboard a little bit. Because as we work on our picking, a lot of times, we stick with just one string. We want to start being able to work our way across. And again, being able to mix and match how we interact with our scales. So this is a great warm-up exercise that, again, just gets us thinking in a different way.
Yes. And one small thing that I do want to mention about this particular exercise, when you're going backwards, that hopefully you noticed is that your pinky is basically replacing where the ring is. That can kind of help you with going backwards. That you've got, oh wait, I'm holding it wrong. Doot, 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 doot. right? And then this guy comes here, and then you continue it. So
I'm gonna take some Zyrtec real quick.
okay, and then I'm noticing
geez.
your is it still on autofocus, or did you put it on manual for you? Because I was noticing while you were teaching, it was the focus was in and out a little bit. So I think it might still be on auto. Usually you set it to manual. Sorry, I didn't want to
Perfect.
interrupt you. Yes. So I always like Spider number 2. Like that one is one that is kind of underrated. In artist work students, if you're like, oh my God, we actually have both Aldrine Spider and Spider number 2 in the lesson. So if you want to submit a video of yourself going through them, you certainly can, so we can check what you're doing. Because yes, these are things that we actually teach. Now, we have Sarah's Inchworm. I just want to note that this was actually inspired by Kale Gamiao. We went to see him, the very first time we ever got to see him and meet him was at a house concert in Oregon. And I forget why like warm-ups even came up during that. I want to say it was like 2012 or 13 that we were talking. And we ended up talking about various things, and this is some variation of something that he showed me that inspired me. Now, let's see here. What does the... Oh, somebody wrote in the chat, what does that purple crown of numbers mean? That's some kind of like the experience, but it's like if you write in the chat a lot, you get a higher number or something. I don't know. We don't really utilize that crown thing. Because we just want you to be able to ask your questions and not worry about like trying to be, number one, etc. So get your ukuleles up. Okay, I like to start this where the frets are a little bit smaller. So you're not going to want to start this like down here. You're going to want to start it up here. So I'm going to start on the what is this? 7th, 7, and 9th fret. Okay, now when you first do this, you don't need to worry about playing. Okay. When you first do this, we just want to worry about moving the fingers. So light touch. No, don't press and squeeze and stuff, okay? Light touch. Fingers spread apart like this. So you have one fret where nobody's there. Take 3 and 4. And I want you to just move them down. Doot, like that. Now take 1 and 2 and move them down. This one and this one. And it will get progressively harder the larger your frets go, because your spread between the frets is bigger, okay? Then go back up. 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2. Oh yeah, let's go back up one more. 1 and 2.
And what's funny is that if you don't play these shapes yet, you will.
Yes.
Like a lot. This is
these, especially jazzy stuff, you will hear them a lot for jazzy things. So that's the initial inchworm and the original thing that was inspired by Kale. So now we have variation where we move one finger at a time, which is surprisingly more difficult than moving 2. So you're going to take your ring finger first, and I'm on the 7th and 9th fret. And I'm going to do ring, pinky. Let's do that again. Ring, pinky. Do it again. Ring, pinky. Last time. Ring, pinky. Okay? Now that we're in this position, we're now going to do index, middle. Repeat that again. Index, middle. Repeat that again. Index, middle. Okay? Now that we've done it, let's try to do them all just once. So I have ring, pinky, index, middle. Yay! Again. Ring, pinky, index, middle. Again. Ring, pinky, index, middle. A ring, pinky, index, middle. And ring, pinky, index, middle. Yay! And of course you can... I'm laughing at those in the chat that are saying, my fingers don't listen. Yes, they don't listen, do they? That's why these are important exercises. Eventually, you can strum where you're going through the first one. Right? Like you can do that, and even with these guys going through. etc., right? Like you can play them, but when you're first learning them, don't worry about playing because you're going to be so focused on making the notes clean that you're going to be pressing too hard and you're going to do something funky with your hand. Just work on moving those fingers
And
and
it
getting
will
those
come down
groupings.
to that. You're going to get frustrated. And then I want you to pause and look how hard you're actually squeezing. You do not
Yes.
need to squeeze that hard.
Yeah, this is always
That's when
normal.
fingers get stuck. That's when they get cramped. That's when you have to compensate with other muscles in your body, and you just end up hurting yourself.
Yeah, don't
and
do
your
that.
ego. So
Don't do that. Don't do that. And again, the original inchworm is on ArtistWorks. I don't remember if I've ever recorded the variation. Usually I give people the variation when they submit a video on the original.
yeah,
So
there's a lot of things that we do like that just
Yeah.
to make sure we can see you going through it first.
Yeah. But it's a really good one. So feel free, students. You can always submit on this because we got it there. Okay. Everybody feel good? Can we move forward? Let's do it. Common goals. Okay. So I wanted to add all of these crazy links. And the reason why is since 2021, we have been doing every January is focused on practice. And we change it every time. I try not to repeat too many things from each one, even though a lot of times the goals are the same. It'll be something different that we're working on. So if you're really hardcore into practice, you can click on any of those links and you will be taken to the YouTube video. You can always go back on our live stream if you want the packets, but again, we show them on screen too. But here you go. So today, for the scales portion, we're going to look at minor scales for a hot minute. Okay, so what I have here, because I realized that we don't do a lot of minor scales, because a lot of the songs we tend to play and work on are in major keys. So I'm just moving this up like that. So we have our natural minor scale. Now, you'll notice that some of those dots are done in orange. And the reason why is because if you look at your major scale, these orange dots are what you flatten to make the natural minor scale happen utilizing a major scale. So if I had my C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, my minor is going to flatten the third note of the scale, the sixth note of that scale, and the seventh note of that scale. So my 3, C, D, E, so it's an E flat now. So F, G, A now becomes A flat, and then B becomes B flat. And now you have a natural minor scale. Well, most people say, you're going to learn the minor scale. They usually mean natural minor. If they're going to call out, if they're using the other two, they usually name them. So in our ArtistWorks lessons, we talk about the minor scale and we teach a minor scale. That's the natural minor. Okay. We named the other ones, that blue scale that we talk about and stuff, and the minor pentatonic, like we name it something else. So, all right, looking at this isn't really a movable one because you have an open C string, but it is movable if we use different fingers. But for now, stick with me. Let's use these fingers as we go. All righty, so you have your open C, and then my middle finger on the second fret, ring, and then over here to this note with my index, my ring, pinky, index, and then my ring. Let's try that again going from the top. Open 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. That's another way you can think of it, where I'm calling out what finger number I'm using. Let's try backward. Now, when you practice your scales, one thing I want you to try to do is keep fingers down for as long as you can. So open, 2, 3. Notice how my middle finger stayed down. Now I can move these two after I've done that. My index doesn't fly back up, even though it's not necessarily needed. You just keep them down. Then you can move them over. And notice here that I'm actually bringing these two fingers down together because I know they need to, and then my index actually moved over after I hit this note. Again, trying to make things as smooth as possible. That's one of the easiest ways to practice the scale. And of course, you can do variations as well, but let's go to the harmonic minor. Oh, okay. I was like, since we're on a close-up, let's just walk through all the scales. So a harmonic minor, you'll look at it and you're like, what's that red that's now using this note? So basically, it's our natural minor, but the seventh note, instead of being a B flat, in our case with our C minor scale, is, with a harmonic minor, it actually moves up a half step. And it's back to its original. This scale, a lot of people kind of think it sounds ethnic-y. It reminds me of like klezmer music. You'll see what I mean when we start to play it. So again, we start with our open, 2, 3, 1 on the F note, ring, pinky, now on the 2nd fret, and then C. Let's do that again. Open, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, what a difference one note makes, right? Versus. Okay, let's go forward and let's try to go backward. Open, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3. Backward. 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, 3, 2, open. Ooh, harmonic minor. It's a really pretty one that's fun to play with. Then you have melodic minor. Melodic minor is one that you probably don't need to worry too much about. We're going to play it and then I'll talk about it. So we have open. Oh, first of all, look, there's 2 red dots. We still have the 7th note that's moved up, but the number 6 note is also moved up, giving us an A natural. So the only flatted note right now is this 3rd fret, that E flat. So here we go, open. 2, 3, 1, and then 3, open A, 2, and 3. Do that again, open, 2nd fret, 3rd, 1st, 3, open, A, and 2, and 3. Okay, so we've gone through all of those scales, right? Now, melodic minor, and I write about this up higher. So melodic minor is a little bit more complicated because classical music, you're taught the melodic minor scale is played this way, going ascending, going up, but it needs to go back to being a natural minor, descending. Jazz, you get told you can play it the same way both ways, the melodic minor scale. So don't worry about it too much. Know it exists. Know what it is that changes within it. But you'll probably use a natural minor and a harmonic minor more frequently with your just standard playing. But if somebody's talking about melodic minor, you at least know like, oh, okay, it's just a harmonic minor, but with the 6th note up a half step. Or it's your natural minor with the 7th and 6th note up a half step. But just fun stuff. So here's some new minor scales you can practice and add to your warm-up. So have fun with it. Yahoo! And I squeeze so hard I can't move my fingers. Stop that. You are concentrating way too hard. Now, if you're having trouble like that where you're like, oh, I'm squeezing so hard, I bet you if you try to play as quietly as pick as quietly as possible, that you'll notice that with a lighter touch, for some reason, if you have a lighter touch with this hand also softens too. So try to actually practice quietly, and that can sometimes help alleviate some of the strain in one of your hands. So just keep that in your back pocket, so to speak. All right, are we good to move on? I think we can move forward. We can talk about variations of these scales another day, but there's some new scales you can practice. Now, the next most common goal. I want to play chords up the neck. Awesome. So we've talked about this multiple times, but I have the progression for 5 Foot 2 Eyes of Blue up here and a million other songs, by the way. So this is a perfect example of a tune that like most clubs tend to play, etc. And so you've got, your basic chords. Now, one thing I do want to say before we like move on to moving chords up the neck is I want you to actually walk through the chords and see if you're actually playing them efficiently before you start adding new chords to it. So for example, when I go from C to E7, I don't want to see any of this. You don't need this like weird, crazy reset or this. There should be no crazy movement. This. Do you see how little I'm actually moving around when I go from C to E7? There's not much, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing anything crazy with my elbow, okay? It really is just this, and my ring slides down, and I add 2 friends. Again, slide down. Sometimes what you want to do for practicing a transition is little things just going here, 2. And just doing this a bunch of times. Because sometimes you just need to do reps, right? In order to be able to be as efficient as possible. Then E7 to A7, super easy. Like that. So here we have C, E7, A7, right? And it's, again, my fingers just jumping over here. Again, here. And if I need to do it in 2 steps to start for my warm-up, here, back, down, here. Eventually you want it to be a solid movement, a fluid movement. And then D7, that's nice. This finger's an anchor. You just kind of go boop and add these guys. Or do this. Doesn't matter to me. Either way, I've got my index available, boop, so I can play G7, whether I'm doing it this one or this one, right? If I've got D7 here, finger down, boop, move those 2 fingers over. If I'm doing D7 like this, boop, finger down, then these fingers come across and back to C, okay? So make sure you have those down before you start adding stuff to it, because you want to really be thinking about what needs to move and what doesn't. Then pick one chord. I have given you at the bottom of the page. So at the bottom of the page, I've given you all of these next position chords. Now, we really do not need to walk, we really do not want to just be, running through all of these brand new right away, okay? You want to pick one chord. And let's say for today, we're going to pick C. So that C down at the bottom, we've got 5, 4, 3, 3. You will now play this C, or you could play open 4, 3, 3. That's also acceptable too. Anytime there's C. Everything else, play up here, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, C, new place. E7 where you know it. A7 here. Hang out on A7. D7. G7. Your new C. G7. Back to C. E7. A7. A7. D7, G7, and then to new C. Stay on C. Okay? One chord at a time, right? Now, just FYI, there's a tiny little 6 that got written down here. That was a boo-boo. Don't worry about that little number. But eventually, you can move everything to be what's happening down here. Eventually. But, as I wrote in this, right? Ta-da, right there. Week 1, C chord. Week 2, add the E7 chord. Week 3, swap out the A7 chord. And then eventually you can go through and get all of these in. Right? And you'll be able to walk through all of them. But one chord at a time. What I used to do at jams, and I still am a big proponent of, is if you always play O P He-Man in the key of G, and you play it every week with your club, you need to play G somewhere else. Or you need to play the C chord somewhere else. But you pick up, you know what your group plays and the keys they play in. Pick one chord, switch it up. Craig has something to say.
I'm going to add something really, really quick. if you notice when Sarah was going through the transition, the different chords, I want everyone to hold up their left hand like this. And notice how naturally our when we're holding our hand up like this, our fingers naturally just kind of droop. All right. It actually takes effort to hold out our hand like this.
With the finger straight
with
up.
the finger straight up. I can feel it kind of straining some muscles here already, just kind of keeping it there. A lot of times when I see beginners, regardless of the chord, like the A7, they'll hold up all these fingers out like this, and they'll actually make it harder to play instead of letting your fingers naturally just droop and be super close to the strings. But that's going to be as efficient as possible. Right. Look how small of a movement that really is.
And look, he almost can play D7 already.
Yep. But that's how, again, it shouldn't look like.
Look at how his fingers are so far away.
Right? And the C, some people really kind of have their fingers out. Let them naturally be close. Let them naturally just relax. Sometimes we relax one finger, but we stress out the other fingers by keeping them up. Again, that's what causes all of that stress, right, in your hand. So be as relaxed as possible. That means letting your fingers naturally just droop and relax. Yeah. And they're going to be so close and ready for the next chord. Okay, so that's one way of really getting our transitions as clean, as efficient as possible. And a lot of times you don't catch yourself unless, again, you record your practice or record a song. You notice your fingers kind of doing way too much work. Yes. Especially for you more advanced players who are adding, scratches in. Everything is just that tiny, tiny movement.
Yep. And the other thing, Craig, while you're there, is we also have, and I put it here, enjoy for free, everybody, but this is a thing from ArtistWorks that we created when we talk about movable major shapes, so that you can then...
So there we can do a whole lesson on this. Yes. And there is a theory workshop that we did that you could find on YouTube as well, I believe. That utilizes this a lot more, but the short version of this is if someone's saying, oh, we're playing a 1-4-5 progression in C, so it's C and F and let's say G7, C, F, and G7. If I was to get rid of my index finger and then play a C and F with my new fingers there and G7, again C, F, and G7. If I take that same shape and go up 2 frets, so there's my C shape, right? It looks like a C, but it's now a D chord. And what looks like an F here is now a G, and what looks like a G7 here is an A7. Looks like a G7 though, right? So C shape, F, G7 shape. C shape, F shape, G7 shape, C, F, G7 shape, but I'm actually playing F, B flat, and C7. That also means I can play, again, going from a C, C sharp, D, etc. All of the major chords have 4 major movable shapes. And this is what kind of breaks it down, where we can take a C shape here. I can look at my last played note, which is there, and create a B flat shape. And the reason why, so this is before I knew about the cage system, which is the exact same thing, just different letters that they use. But for me, I used the B flat shape because in my head, B flat was such a pivotal point in my ukulele
and it's the
journey.
First chord that you learn that looks like that.
Yeah, because guitar is B flat is not a big deal. compared to the other ones, right? So to me, I called it the B flat shape. And then from there, to get to my next C chord, as you can see there, I would skip a fret underneath, bar the next, and create what looks like an F shape. So that's my C chord in the F shape. And then from there, I'm going to step. So if my ring is on 9, I'm going to step to 10 on the A string, make what looks like an E chord. I'm never going to play it like this up here. That's so uncomfortable. But just for the sake of showing.
Knowing your shape.
So from the E shape, I will take the 3 in a row, bar it, and then reset to what looks like a C shape. So that's all my C chords up the neck. And the great thing about this, it always repeats in that order. C, B flat, F, E, C, B flat, F, C. So if I'm playing something that starts, let's say I'm going to play an F. That happens to be in the F shape, right? And then if you look on the chart, the next shape is going to be an E shape. So I'm going to, it says
step, excuse me.
So from my middle finger on the 2nd fret, I'm going to step to the 3rd, make what looks like an E. From there, my C chord, or C shape, I'm going to take the 3, bar it.
Hey, there's your next F.
And then again, I'm reset back to the C shape. So I'm going to replace that and make what looks like a B flat shape. And those are all my Fs. So they're always in that order. So there's not as much memorization as you think you need to kind of get all of these chords under your belt. That's the fantastic thing about this. Again, we will spend another workshop talking more mainly about this kind of stuff. But for now, for those of you who kind of understand those shapes, we can start practicing up. If you haven't seen this before, the big thing is just follow that chart for now. Yeah. So C in the C shape.
Learn all your C's.
C in the B flat shape. You're going to skip, bar the next, C in the F shape, step, C in the E shape, C in the C shape. And we'll kind of go from there. But that's the big thing to kind of work on for now, just getting those shapes under your hand.
And if you're an ArtistWorks student, you can totally submit a VE on this because this is straight from our curriculum, and we have it for dominant 7 chords too. We didn't go over minor because minor was a little... You don't use all the minor shapes in the same kind of way, but we do have a chart for it. So if you want to walk through them all, you can. Yay!
Oh, that's a great comment by Sam too about the practicing while holding a lemon. With the other hand.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great.
Now, Craig, did you want to talk about getting a song performance ready?
Give me a second. Do something else for now. I'm gonna.
Okay. So, I want to have cleaner transitions. So for this, I created using our C, E7, A7, D7 progression. I created this little exercise, okay? Now, I really recommend recording yourself when you're going through chord transitions and things, because that's when you'll really see when things are clumsy, because you'll watch it back and go, So for this one, what I did was I've given you the little chord diagrams because I kept everything except for the very last measure to be chords. But basically what I have us practicing is like adding and taking off fingers and manipulating your chord a little bit. So the very first measure, I have C twice. Then I add my pinky and take it away. Some of you, that stretch might be really big. So then you might only be practicing measure number 1 for a while because you want to work on getting that stretch in. 1, 2, repeat that again. Add the pinky, take it away. 1, 2, repeat again. Notice how when I'm adding my pinky, I'm not like doing something crazy. I'm not moving. My hand stays in the same position. And also look how close my pinky is. It doesn't have very far to go. Okay. Next, I switch to my E7. And for this one, even though the diagram itself looks like I don't have my finger here, I actually keep a finger there. And I end up doing this. Add a finger, take it away. 1, 2, 3, again. 1, 2, 3, last time. And then A7, this one's going to be the trickiest. You have A7. You add a friend to the 2nd fret. But then the next A7. With this one, I'm actually thinking of what needs to move first. My pinky reaches, and then I bring the rest of the shape up. So it might be that for practicing this transition, you hold open 1, open 2, reach for the pinky, take it back, reach for the 4th, take it back, reach for 4, take it back, reach for 4, add some friends, go backwards. Here we go. Reach for 4, try to add friends, go backwards, and reach for 4, try to add friends. And also, you can also practice too with your pinky, just trying to add these 3 fingers and doing little reps like this. Because I also find sometimes if you can isolate in this manner, and again, I'm not strumming or anything, I'm just trying to hold this shape and lifting up 3 and putting them back down. Cha, 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 right? Then I should be able to, going back to our original A7, add a friend, or add a friend. And then here, 1, 2, and then move up, and then back down. Okay? So this one, my pinky just scooted up. Now, going through that first line as an exercise, I'm going to go through it real quick. E7, A7, add a friend, and your pinky. Okay? Because I know, and then here I have a D7 in this manner, and I'm going to do add a pinky, take it away. It's very similar. And then here we have a big transition that's going to happen. I have my G7. I can add a finger or scoot a finger up depending on what I want to do, but it's picking. And then I'm going to take this whole shape and I'm going to move it up to the 3rd and 5th fret. So it looks, Craig calls this gigantic G7. And then I'm going to move it back down and then play C. So that again, I have G7. I add a finger, or you can move up 1 finger. It doesn't matter to me what's more comfortable for you. Move up to 3, spread out the fingers. So you're on 3 and 5, back to G7, and then C. And you might spend all your time just doing this. 2, 3, 4. But again, you're moving through chords. And then the last one, open A, open G, 2nd fret, and then it starts over. So this is just a fun exercise to force you to do some chord transitions and really look at what you don't need to move and what does need to move. Also, always trying to keep a finger on the fretboard at all times. So here, this finger's just sliding down, adding a finger, but moving everybody. So there was always something on the fretboard, D7, and even G7. This finger slides to get to that place. 2, 3, 4. 2nd fret, and then you could just end on C if you want, or repeat the whole phrase again. So that's what this little exercise is. And it's just, you can make something up, but again, if this was a song, that would be how I would go about practicing it. And I might only practice 1 measure for, 5-10 minutes. Or I might practice where I'm just going through this without strumming anything because I'm wanting to make sure I get the muscle memory into my hand. So, and the other thing is, if you say you got line 1 down, start practicing on line 2. Don't worry about adding line 1 till later, because again, you might want to practice this out of order so that no matter where you are in the piece, you can always jump back in. All right, Craig, are you feeling ready?
Okay, so if one of your goals this year is to have a song performance ready, first off, you gotta rip off the Band-Aid. You have to have that song memorized. I don't care if I have a song that I memorized and played throughout my life. As soon as there's sheet music in front of me in a performance, I'm going to start looking at it. It's there. I feel like, I should double check where I am. No, you got to be able to rip off that Band-Aid and just start memorizing this one song. We have to get to that point. Having the sheet music up there is going to be such an extreme distraction, and it ends up being more hurtful than helpful a lot of times.
Well, I also like your analogy of it's like looking at your phone during a conversation.
Yeah. So again, a lot of people are saying during when you perform, you're making eye contact with the audience, you're having a conversation with them, right? You're having that moment. Imagine, you're having a conversation with your friend and you're just staring at your phone the whole time. Yeah, what are you doing this weekend? Yeah, it was fun. But, instead of making eye contact, it feels really disconnected, right? So think about that when you're moving forward. Now, in order to memorize that song, that means you have to memorize lyrics and you have to memorize chords. Get the chords down first, okay? Because that has to become second nature. Every time you pick up the ukulele, you're going to play through that progression. Most songs have a progression that a lot of it is repeated. There are very few songs that the memorization is like learning 2 or 3 pages worth of different, chord changes and whatnot. Usually it's the same 4 chords for the body or for the chorus, same 4 chords for the verse, etc. So start being able to make those connections. Transitions. When I say, for 5 minutes, just play through the same progression. For 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a long time, right? But you're going to start noticing things where like, oh, getting to my B flat is taking a little bit longer than normal, or is not feeling as comfortable. And so let's isolate. You have to be able to stop and pick, okay, I'm going to spend time now on just that transition. So looking at, let's say that D minor to B flat, a lot of people will reset their hand and then do B flat, right? Or they'll reset, then put down one finger at a time. Think of what needs to move and what can stay. From here, I'm going to think, okay, the most efficient thing for me to do is rotate my index finger so I can just come around with that index finger and then bring the other 2 down as I swivel. The reason that I swivel instead of just doing this is that notice my index, how flat and concave and sore that is. And it also means, look how far the ball of my pinky is. Look how flat that makes my ring finger want to be. And then I get to the issue where that ring finger wants to touch those other strings. Now, watch what happens when I bring the ball of my pinky closer to the fretboard. See how it curves that ring finger. So there's no way it could touch those other strings at all. So again, for my D minor, or F even, if you're, same kind of shape, right? But for my D minor, I'm going to rotate and bring those guys around. D minor, swivel to B flat. And look how much space there is in that curve from that ring finger. All right. And then as Sarah wrote in there, I can, instead of going to C7, I could take that same shape and go up from B flat to B to C. Or C7, I could do something like that. So, again, it's about being so comfortable with these chords for that song that it feels like you can't get it wrong. But when we record for an album, we are so sick of practicing those songs because we practice and listen to playbacks hundreds upon hundreds of times. So by the time we actually listen to the final mix, we're so sick of it already. But that's how, again, we need to be able to internalize what we're doing, because once you have it memorized, it's like for life. You're golden. That's why people can play hundreds of different songs memorized, because again they notice what kind of progression they're playing for each song, so that that's like a 1-6-4-5,
or maybe it sounds like another song, and you find tricks to remembering things.
And as Sarah mentioned before, practicing out of order, like start with the 3rd verse, start with the 4th verse, and then go to chorus and loop it around like that.
And a big thing too is record yourself as your own backing track.
Yeah.
So get out the trusty old metronome and practice your chords for like 5 minutes. It's gonna feel like a long time, but record your chords. Then when you are washing dishes, put on headphones, or you're doing whatever, driving around, running errands, put on your backing track in the car, sing your song. That way you are practicing memorizing the lyrics. And your ear is getting used to what it will sound like when it's you playing versus singing with a recording of the original artist doing it. Because it's going to sound and feel really different when you're only hearing your ukulele instead of like an entire band. Okay? So that's really, really important. And a trick that we still use, because I can't make Craig play for me all the time. I can't stop him from his, daily tasks to be like, I need to practice singing this song. Be my backing track. I wish I could do that. And sometimes I do. But I've got to be able to, have a recording of it so I can do my practice. And then also one thing I don't think we wrote in here, but it's really important. I mentioned earlier, if you're working on performing, practice how you would perform it. If you are going to be standing up, practice standing. If you are going, if you practice slumped on your couch, when you go to stand with an armrest, resting on armrest, you will have a lot of trouble you'll have a lot of trouble performing standing up or even just sitting in a folding chair. Sitting in a folding chair feels really different than sitting at your, kitchen table with your arms resting on the armrests, okay? So just food for thought. Also, if you are not used to plugging in, practice plugged into a small amp. Super, super important and something I know we've talked about in past live streams. So go back and look at those January live stream links that I have listed earlier. But, practicing plugged in is really important because all of a sudden your instrument sounds really different. And that's a whole other can of worms that gets people talking about different kinds of pickups and preamps and all blah, 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 blah. So just things that's really important to think about. Also, we've talked about this in past live streams, practice live streams, using a metronome versus using a drum machine. The metronome is just this constant tick that is always right and is incredibly irritating for some. The drum machine sounds more fun. It's a really great tool. It's basically a metronome that's fancy, that you can make it swing depending on what kind of drum machine you have. There's free apps. I have one, I think that's called like Drum Plus that I use. There's some that you can pay for that has all these crazy styles like samba and etc. But can let you play in like 5/8 time or whatever. But whatever. That probably is not a real time signature. But it's really handy, and depending on what helps you inspire you to practice, if you'll practice with a drum machine instead of the metronome, great. The main thing is making sure you practice.
I wish I had
a
drum machine.
Yeah.
Instead of a metronome growing up, for sure.
Yeah, it's more fun because you feel like you're playing with somebody as opposed to this constant that's just like obnoxious. So there is technically more to this packet, but I am gonna stop because we are out of time. But this, you can go through, because how I write things out, you can usually kind of figure out what on earth's going on. But I've got some picking patterns and things that you can practice. Artist Work students, if you would like, go through the last part of this packet, give me a VE on it, show me what you learned, and we can continue working on it. For January, I always end up making the packet way bigger than it should be. Just because there's a lot that you could cover.
Yeah, so drum machine, instead of the tick, 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 it's like a boom, 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 boom. So it adds it fills in stuff, so it doesn't feel as
empty.
Empty, yeah, and it's a way more fun way of utilizing.
And it gives you more feel too. You can have it do swinging eighths. So instead of tick, 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 you've got that going on, which is a lot more fun to practice with than this like very strict, rigid piece of time. It won't feel as rigid with a drum machine, even though it actually is the same rigidity. So
with that said, though,
oh yes,
again, I wish we had like another hour, but
I know.
a lot of the big things today, I'll put myself in a little corner there. A lot of the big things today is, again, looking at your long-term goals. And I promise you, almost every long-term goal has 80% of the foundation that needs to happen for any of those to come to fruition.
Yeah.
So that means, again, memorizing your chords, or at least chord shapes, because, again, you can do so much with that. Working on your transitions.
Yeah.
Again, you could be playing for 10 years, but if you're sloppy with your transitions, it won't sound like you're that seasoned, right? You have to work on your efficiency and clean transitions.
Yeah.
3, if you're starting to pick, one of the hardest things, and actually I'll pull myself up. One of the hardest things to do when you're picking, even taking something as basic as the C scale. One of the hardest things that you want to try and do is that between each note, you're going to let the note ring for as long as possible. Typically, though, we try to, and again, we've had some VEs from students come in, and we just talked about this, which is great to bring up. But sometimes we might bring that left hand down a little bit early, and it stops that note from vibrating. Or we bring our thumb down too early. So this is where timing matters so much. Because if you're early on either end, you're not letting that note ring for as long as possible. And it's something as simple as that, where that kind of nuance and touch will stick with you forever. But you have to put the time in. So when you're going through scales, don't think, okay, I need to spend 5 minutes. Have intent with your practice. Say, I want to make sure I practice that smoothly, or I'm adding dynamics. Or you can experiment with your tone. Oh, I'm gonna try to give it a little bit more a bite. Or I'm gonna be more mellow, which is a big difference, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing about your chords too. Again, one C chord can sound very different depending on how you're strumming or attacking the string. So again, just because you can play through a song, when you have the goal about progressing, this is where we can have the most gain, is you're paying attention to how those notes sound, how those chords sound, how you're getting from one end to the other. And then, one thing that we'll push this year with Artist Works, as well as we'll maybe in the 15 minutes before the workshops this year, we'll try to do a little bit of ear training exercises. Because I think that's very important, that a lot of us don't have a chance to practice if we're, playing alone and we don't have big groups to play with, right? So we'll try to figure out a way to utilize that to help with that, because that's when all these doors open up, and music becomes like an even more fun because of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I just saw a mongoose.
Oh,
walk across the backyard.
Nice.
Our little mongoose friend is back. All right. But thank you guys so much. And again, if you'd like to join us on Artist Works, you certainly can. We have this is our affiliate code, or you can do the so fancy QR thing over here, take a picture and go to the website that way. But yeah, our affiliate code helps us out. So feel free to use that. But we hope to see those of you who are our students. I see you writing in the chat like, I'll see you in VE land. Yes, you will. Thank you guys so much. And of course, even if you're not an Artist Works student, if you want to tag us on social media as you are going through your practice, please feel free. We love to get to see what you're doing, even if you're not in our online school. There's still ways to get to us so that we can check it out, because we love that people from all over join our live streams. We feel so incredibly fortunate. So thank you to all of you who have helped make these possible since 2018 or 17. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since we've been doing these live streams. So we look forward to seeing you February 14th on Valentine's Day, so we can do a little bit of ear training and some love songs. So aloha, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.